George, you see that everyone is gone. You are still standing in your exact position, and Pennywise is still standing in the middle of presumably your son's sofa fort in the middle of your old living room, stuck as it is in this, the greatest decade ever, the 80s. Pennywise cracks his back. Well, you can go about your business, little toy. I only like to play with real children. You're not a real boy, are you, Pinocchio? Would you like to be?
What's your deal, man?
I have no deal. This is business. Business is what it is. Sorry, old chum, but you're not in the plans anymore. But I'm a clown of my word. I will not hurt you. And he looks over at Shannon. You're the one he fears the most, and so I fear you. Goodbye.
That's cute.
He begins to sink, and it's at that time that, Mitch, you see these dark, shadowy heads begin to bob from the Energon. There's first one, then three, then a half dozen. And much like they are riding the currents of this Energon, they begin to move towards the island that you and Shannon are on. From everywhere and nowhere, you hear, You I get to deal with personally. You escaped me once, but our play date has finally arrived. Do you know what your mother did when I ate her? Do you want to know what her last words were, Robbie? She was the first one I visited.
He's gonna take a swing behind him and say, was it fuck you?
Where's everybody else?
Ben looks down. Do we even care, man?
Yes. You
Why?
have a wife.
Yeah, man, we can get back to her.
Yeah, like,
It's not
but
dark here, man. It's sunny. We can find Scarlet. Man, you can find Veronica, man. And as all of this transpires, you realize that there is a third body amongst all of these. One that has been dead for quite some time. And with the jacket that it's wearing and the fact that it is cradling one of your versions with one arm and holding on to one of your mom's versions with its other, you see the body of your father. As Aaron is sitting on the lap of his father, as George, you are watching the screen of your own father, as he has documented everything that has occurred since the fall of the loop. You seem that your father must have survived whatever event happens, but he's not sure what it is. He's not sure what caused the calamity that has befallen Garrett, but you do know that he gives you several interesting pieces of information, chief of which is that here in Garrett, at least at the time of your father's passing, there is a resistance group, and that group is called Alta. And as Aaron kind of leans forward, the green light coming from this old computer illuminates father and son. And in this moment, Aaron turns to you and smiles and says, there might be other people.
Yeah, maybe. You can read pretty good. How old are you?
Well, I'm a robot.
Oh, you know that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
figured it out downstairs.
Fair. I just, I didn't want to. Okay. Well. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, there might be some people here. Do you recognize any of these names?
He leans forward and he points at one of them and he says, that's the guy that helped out the Power Rangers. And you see Zordon as one of the names of presumably a code name for one of these resistance members.
Mitch, I don't think the Energon's fixing them.
oh.
That's it? That's all you got? And
I
do
Oh
the
my
thing
God,
that you're gonna do. So, because I'm gonna run out of bullets.
okay.
Mitchell's proximity alarm starts to go off as they're getting closer and the Energon's beginning to creep up into the island. And I'll also give you this one. In one of the cages in the back, you see fingers come up through the bars. And as you get over there and look down, you see one blue eye and one brown eye as Chris Witt looks back at you.
Holy shit, Chris! It's Chris!
He's got a wispy, long beard. He's about halfway to becoming Main Street Jimmy. And you see him look up at you, but you bet that he's probably, maybe only a year or two older than you guys. But he looks 20 years older than you all. Reflected in those multicolored eyes, you can see yourself, Shannon. And when he looks up, you see tears run and cut through the grime. Shannon.
Chris, she reaches her arm and kind of like holds his forearm with hers, like.
He hugs it. Mitch?
Yeah, man. I have an idea that's not any better or worse than any of my other ones. He grabs both of them in like a hug and sort of shakes off Mitchell, who falls into the messenger bag. All right, listen, I need everyone to focus on, I don't know, the paperback exchange, I guess? My dive's pretty wonky here, so I'm gonna need everyone's help.
Okay.
As soon as Chris realizes what's going on, you hear him start to shout, and as you all dive, you crash into the floor. Boom, boom. And as all three of you are sitting there, Chris looks over at you in this wiry, wispy beard. You can't do that in here. That's why they put me in here. Now, you don't know why, but there's something in this voice that immediately, when you hear that giggle again, it sounds forced. It sounds put on. It sounds like a fucking act. You're not sure he wants to be here.
Come out of the shadows. Fight me like a real whatever the hell you are.
Why would I do that, Robbie? Make me a better offer.
Why are you doing this? Why are you back?
I couldn't stay there. I was dying. I took a deal.
I am gonna crow hop with this bat and golf swing him right in the temple.
As you twirl the bat and move forward and absolutely making Gilmore himself proud of this, the form that you possess, you crack this guy's head the Pennywise's head is perfectly teed up as it's kind of trying to lift up and get over the rack that you have thrown on it. And as soon as you hit the head, you see it go flying back towards the lobby. It's screaming the entire way. It is crying. It is weeping. This is not a scream of defiance. This is a scream of fear absolute. It continues to bloat. It continues to get larger, and it finally splits. But instead of like gore, blood, bone, viscera flying through the air, it's almost like a party favor goes off. You see confetti, you hear a as a whistle goes off, and you see kind of like colored smoke like you would see in a color run, kind of clouds the air, and you see hands come up through the split in the body, now exposed to the air, and you see them press like they're getting out of a swimming pool and push up, and standing in front of you is Maggie. You can't help yourself, but you fall back asleep. Jerry, you don't know how much time has passed, but when your eyes open again, you feel incredibly well rested. You don't feel that feeling of sleepiness anymore, that exhaustion that you had a moment ago, that felt like a moment ago. Same room, same sun, same everything, same decorations, something that you and Ben would have put up had you been teenagers in this place. But Ben's not here. And as you look around, you see what looks like the inside of a blank cassette tape, but it's kind of teepeed and tented up on the table closest to your bed.
Pick that up and have a closer look at it.
I had to go find her.
Fuck.
And whatever invisible barrier is in front of you, but it's almost like hitting the inside of a glass door, as you realize this transparent, solid force field of some kind is preventing you from getting to Ben. And Ben is screaming. He's maybe 3-4 feet from you. You can see every indication on his face as his eyes are wild as he's looking around. And he keeps going back from the grave of Scarlet to the grave of Jerry. And he keeps looking, and he's tears pouring down his face, and he screams into the night, "I have nothing! Nothing!"
Rise, minions, and welcome back to Unmade Gaming. We are here for episode 8, the one that Jerry dies in, is what we're, locally calling that episode title. If you like what we do here, you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is by joining us over on our Patreon link in the description down below. While you're down there, click on that Discord link, join us in the community, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation. And in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see that corruption bar. This time it's called the Maggie/Michigan bar. That bar serves 3 purposes now. One is when that bar fills, all that money goes back to these wonderful, amazing faces that you see here before you. 2, if you fill that bar and use hashtag Maggie, we get good things and can possibly survive longer. However, if you fill that bar and use hashtag Michigan, bad things happen, and Greg tries to kill Jerry specifically this time, but usually all of us.
Well, I was going to say, I'm going to interrupt real quick, Mike.
No.
If there is a Michigan, just know that this goes directly towards Mitch.
What the fuck?
Michigan's tonight go directly towards Mitch. As you were.
This is not a money raising scheme, guys. Please don't try to kill me. That's not fun. My name's not even in the title. With that horrible revelation, Greg, take us to hell, I guess. Jesus.
Otherwise known as Garrett, Maryland. Hello, everybody. My name is Greg, Warp Reactor over on YouTube. Tonight, we'll be joining back with our Atari Midnight campaign based on the Things from the Flood rule set by Free League. In a moment, I'm going to go around and ask all of my characters who they are and who they'll be playing and what their playbook is as to exactly what type of character they will be running in this campaign. As of right now, we've come back from our mid-season finale. Some of our characters are hurting. Some of our players are coming off of or in the middle of being sick. So everybody, we're just going to ease ourselves back into this. There's not going to be anything dire at all that's going to happen to each and every one of these characters throughout the course of the next 2 hours. So everyone just relax. It'll be perfectly fine. The only question that I want to ask all of my players before we begin is, if their character were to die, what would they want to leave to somebody, and who is that someone they would want to leave whatever it might be to? Now, you could have nobody, but that would be sad, especially since this is going to be a very easy episode where none of this could possibly happen. So before we get started, I'll do a brief recap, everyone, as to where we last ended up in Atari Midnight. So friends, everybody is in Garrett, Maryland, or at least a bastardized version of the hometown in which all of these characters you see around you grew up. This group's name, colloquially, is the Autobots, and they have been on many fantastic, never-ending adventures throughout the realm of pop culture with the 80s music and the 90s inspired themes of Atari Midnight, all woven together into one wonderful tapestry of murder and intrigue. But right now is a time to dive back into the highlands of Maryland as I welcome each and every one of you back home. Once the setting of your heroic adventures, now Garrett, Maryland, has been baked into a decidedly different recipe, as it has become part ghost town, part experiment, and part dream. Slices of Garrett's past, present, and future mingle on each one of the streets. You can feel both the warmth of a late 1960s summer wind and the deep chill of a 1920s blizzard, all under an eternal midnight sky. You have been ripped from your times for reasons unknown. Your existence, a tightrope walk along a razor's edge. It is your task to uncover the truth of your predicament, and if possible, free yourselves and your town from its current state. Somewhere in this Frankensteinian recreation, sometime in this Frankensteinian recreation of your hometown, as Greg doesn't have his glasses on, lies that very truth. Some of you have already unsolved or solved mysteries that have been presented to you, but many questions still remain. Ben, your stalwart companion, has found his loved ones beneath the stones of Rose Hill Cemetery. Shannon and Mitch have momentarily escaped the bowels of the Loop offshoot building known colloquially as Castle Grayskull. Nothlings pursue you as you struggle to flee with the maimed Chris Witt in tow. George, behind the computer of your father, Eugene, you and your son, Aaron, seek to uncover any information that might aid you and your friends. Rob, triumphant over the evil entity known as Pennywise, you stand in the boarded-up shell of the once proud Paperback Exchange. In your arms, your mother Maggie holds you and sobs as you freed her from the prison inside the stomach of one clown. Jerry, unknown to Ben, you stand just beside him. A force field keeps you from him physically, and something prevents Ben from seeing you. He wails as he looks at two grave markers, one bearing the name of Scarlet Blake Mackenzie, and the other your own. And rolling all over these moments, atop the far side horizon, the loop, and its three towers of past, present, and future bear witness. Welcome, one and all, to Atari Midnight, Episode 8, There's Something About Jerry. We now return to our adventure, already in progress. All right, my friends, as we go around, a couple of mechanical things before we get started. It's time for leadership roles. Anyone that rolled it's open to anybody after our mid-season finale. Two of you may roll leadership roles. Now, mechanically, to explain to everyone else, these roles can be given to any of the other members of your party, but they must be inside your physical proximity, meaning if you're not in the same scene with somebody, you cannot give them any dice, but you may give as many as you'd like. Or if you decide to bank them at the end of this adventure, you may spend 2 dice each to remove 1 condition from any player. If a player reaches 6 total conditions, they will be removed from the game and their character rendered lifeless. So, friends, with the questions I asked earlier and the idea that leadership must be rolled, let's start by asking Meta who she is and who she'll be playing.
Hello, I am going to be playing Shannon, and I think I'll probably do the leadership role. I think it's just me and Mitch right now, and I was leading the way out, so I figured naturally it might make more sense. Okay.
And Meta, if Shannon, God forbid, were to leave
Oh, that's right.
the Earth, is there anything that she would want to bequeath to somebody? It doesn't have to be a member of the party. It could be anybody that she has met in her life. And what would be that item that she would leave?
Yeah, I think she would have her father's dog tags returned to her family.
Fantastic. Let's move over to Mitch. Mitch, since you are currently with Shannon, who will you be playing, Mike? And the answer to the question, please.
That's me. I'm Mike, who is just a facsimile of Mitch, or vice versa. And I will be resuming, at least for this episode, Greg, my role as Mitch until you kill me or encourage the rest of the community to kill me. And I would leave. The only thing I have is my messenger bag, and it would be left to Rob. And in it would be a letter, which is mostly a list of demands, and all the rest of the contents for him to divvy out to people.
Would that include Mitchell, your robot?
It would include the entirety of what are the contents inside his bag, which are vast and many.
Interesting. It's like the utility belt of Batman. Since you bequeathed that to Rob, let's go down to Frags. Frags, who are you playing, and what is the answer to the question?
Hey, I'm Frags. I'm playing Rob. If I died, I'd want my mask to go to George. I would like to see what happens when a robot puts on a robot mask. Well, I mean, I wouldn't see it. I wouldn't see it. But
is it like hat on a hat though? I don't know.
No, it turns you into a super robot. It's like a transformer thing. And I'll form the head, and you get to.
Fantastic. And since that lends itself to an easy transition, let us go over to Rhino. Same questions, my friend. Who will be playing, and who would you leave, and what?
Yep. So I'm Rhino. I'm playing George Butts. I think that's a tough one because that's just George's thing is that he's lost basically everybody. So if Aaron is real and that's not, this is a persistent figure in his life, I think he would basically leave everything to him. Right now, there's not a whole lot. He joined the military, so he kind of just left his worldly possessions behind. So perhaps a name tape or the dog tags or anything like that, he would just leave to Aaron.
Well, let me ask you a question, my friend. This is a bit of an audible here. If you had to leave Aaron in the care of somebody, and this could be anybody that you've met, or it could be a member of the party. If you needed somebody to take care of Aaron until he reached an age of maturity, who would it be? Who would be the foster parent?
No, I saw that. Oh man, that is tough. I think, as much as she hates it, probably Shannon. I think that would be a huge challenge for her. I don't know. There's something about that. It just feels like such a good dichotomy. It's such a huge, like so much conflict, but growth potential. So I think it would be Shannon, because she's got a gun. She'll take care of the kid, whether that means Old Yeller or not. That's
She'll burn his
Jesus, all
toast.
right.
you know.
She'll burn his toast, but she'll still cut the crust off.
That's right, exactly.
Listen, at least Mitch could fix him if he gets sick.
No, you tinker.
Hey, your son's a robot, Mike. I don't want to.
Fantastic. And last but certainly not least, the namesake of the episode, as we jump over to Bitters. Bitters, my friend, who will you be playing, and what would you leave and why?
Well, I'm Mr. Bitters, and unfortunately, you left me for last because I was just going to claim one of the other characters before the other people got to it. But yeah, I'll be playing Jerry. Jerry doesn't have much that he holds sacred. What he does have, maybe his bass guitar, would go to Ben, because Ben's his brother.
Fantastic. And so, my friends, I think what we'll do now is just
Wait. Hold on 1 second, Greg. I'm not going to let you get away from that question.
Oh, me?
If Ben bit the dust, what would he leave, and to whom would he leave it to?
It's funny you should ask that exact question, Mike, because I had that answer all queued up for after this particular session, when I will let you know exactly who Ben would leave his most prized possession to. Just remind me when we get to the end.
All right.
Stick around.
All right, everybody. So for this moment, we will be jumping around, as currently we have several. The party is as split can be. We have, well, not totally. If Shannon and Mitch were separated, then it would be a truly split party. But Shannon and Mitch are together, and everyone else is alone. Now, Jerry, of course, is in the proximity of Ben, and I think it is upon that particular moment that we will circle through the midnight sky of Garrett, Maryland, zoom down through both the warmth of a summer, the crispness of a fall, and the snow of a winter, through the seasons unparalleled, until we reach Rose Hill Cemetery, where we currently see Ben standing as you know him in present day, his long rock star hair matted and smeared across his face, as he is on his knees wailing in front of two gravestones, one marking his wife's name and the other his brother Jerry. And so in this moment, Jerry, as you seem to be removed from him, incapable of progressing towards him, you're still only about 3 or 4 feet away from him. You could almost reach out and grab him where you're standing, but there's something blocking you. And whatever this invisible shield happens to be, it is also preventing Ben from seeing you and hearing you. Now, you left and abandoned the Indian motorcycle that you had driven up until you reached Scarlet's house, and then hoofed it here to Rose Hill Cemetery. So in this moment, as you stand upon the snow and the mud kind of caked up to your knees as you rush through all of these different environments, you stand there. What do you do as you look upon your brother in the state of grief you've never seen him in? This includes the night that his mother was murdered. What do you do, my friend?
Jerry's probably confused momentarily. I can't imagine, he understands why this is happening. But he has like one move, and he'll probably try to hammer against whatever's holding him while he's screaming Ben's name, just trying to make himself heard.
Roll me a force then, as we have our first roll of the game. Friends that want to do leadership, do so now for me, please.
Got 0 successes on that force.
So you pound against the invisibility. Again, anybody that wants to roll force, it can, or leadership, just 2 of you though, please, in totality.
D12, right?
No, this is your leadership role should be a skill set. It's not the
Oh,
detail.
oh, you're right. I'm an idiot.
No, come on. It's been a bit since we played. So as you pound against the outside of this shield, you can hear a sound that almost sounds like, you know, you're pounding on the outside of a garbage can, giving that false echo that's a very enclosed space. And you would think that even on the other side of this, that this is something that Ben should be able to hear, but there is absolutely no reaction from him. You see him still just you can hear him clear as day. You can hear the intake of his breath. You can see him weeping. You can hear every tense of his muscles as he's screaming, but he doesn't recognize or notice that you're there. And it's at that moment that you feel a hand and an arm around your shoulders.
Jerry will wheel reflectively, almost afraid of what he's going to see.
You see yourself reflected in an inky pool of blackness as a humanoid figure, roughly your height, is looking back your way. But this oil slick of a face, this oil slick of a body with wisps of black smoke coming off of it, looks at you. And in the reflection of your own face, even though you don't do it, you see yourself smile and you hear, "Jerry, what are you doing out here?"
It's a good question. What am I doing out here?
And this creature spins to you. And I'm going to allow you to roll an investigation if you want to glean more from him. But as he looks, he just shrugs and glances. In a weird way, even though he's featureless, you can tell when he's looking at certain things. And he looks over at Ben, and then he looks back at you, your own face again reflected, and he shrugs his shoulders. "You don't belong here. You deserve to be happy, Jerry. Wouldn't you agree?"
Yeah, I think we left that a long time ago.
You surely did. What was your worst day, Jerry? I mean, I can answer it for you if you'd like. It's written in the stars. It's easy to read.
My worst day hasn't happened yet.
You don't have one that's even in the ballpark?
Well, this one's looking pretty bad.
Oh, Jerry, do you not remember? I tell you what, friend to friend, I'll show you your worst day. Are you ready? For Ben here. Knowing this is going to help him out.
Would you the ghost of Christmas past? Yeah, whatever.
Something like that. When you blink and open your eyes, Jerry, you are in 1990s New York City. And friends, if you've ever visited New York City, you haven't visited it unless you visited in the 80s or 90s. That was back when the Big Apple was the Big Apple and not the Big Apple LLC. Corporations hadn't killed all of the small businesses yet. All the restaurants that were family owned, some of them still existed. Little corners of neighborhoods carved out communities and life that have since gone the way of the dodo. But here in this moment, in the Upper West Side, there is life, there is community, and for a moment, there is a brilliant sun above. And Jerry, you are high as fuck. You are across the street, barely able to stand. The interviews that you and Ben had been doing with the group, they ended a day early. You were able to come home a day early. You were able to get back to NYC and Veronica a day early. But here you stand, looking across the street, up into the window where you see Veronica hugging and kissing another man. You feel your feet begin to move across the street. A cab beeps as it almost hits you, bumping your thigh just a bit, but it doesn't swerve your path as you burst into the door and start climbing stairs. But Jerry, you realize that you're watching yourself do this, and this creature of inky black is beside you. You don't remember any of this? You don't remember this?
I'm not fucking with you right now.
This was the last day, Jerry. The last day of Jerry and Veronica. That's not a bad day.
What do you want?
I don't want you to have a bad day, Jerry. You deserve more. You've been through enough. Right? Did you see the gravestone? That's your name on that stone, Jerry. I didn't put it there.
It's a lie.
Is it? Where are you headed, Jerry? Right now, as he points across the street, you can see yourself beginning to climb up the stairs inside the building through the windows that decorate the stairwell. You know what's going to happen when you get up there, right?
Yep. But I fixed that.
How?
When we went back, I fixed it.
And you told her to leave Garrett?
That's right.
Did you see her leave Garrett?
No.
But you tried. And that's why I'm here, Jerry. You were willing to try. You were willing to try and change something. It didn't work, but I can guarantee you with my help, it will work. He's almost to the top of the stairs, Jerry. What are we going to do?
What do you want?
I want you to fight. Fight for what you deserve.
Jerry's going to swing on him.
Roll force.
Go one.
He takes the hit and goes down to his right knee, but stands right back up. Am I your enemy? Am I the one that you should be stopping? And he points over across the street. What about that guy? What's he do in the next 5 minutes? Or don't you remember?
Fuck you.
Yeah, you remember. Another blink, and you're climbing stairs, but everything has a haze around it, as if somebody has smeared Vaseline on the outside of a movie lens. You see this wispy, ethereal quality to everything that you're watching. And you climb, and for the first time, you realize that you're not entering an apartment. You're not entering a home of some kind. You're entering a business. And as you burst into this studio of health and fitness, you see Veronica dressed in her appropriate attire for instruction, standing there hugging another man. And you can see your feet striding. They're wobbly, but they're striding across the space. You can feel your fist being pulled back. You can see Veronica's eyes grow wide. You blink again and you're across the street. The figure of inky black looking at you. It's the moment of truth, Jerry. Do you want it to all happen again?
No.
Then fight. Not me. Fight for what you deserve. I want the best for you, Jerry. I want the best for all of you except for that bitch Shannon. That's the truth.
Why should I believe you?
Why shouldn't you? What have I ever done to you?
This. You brought
I
me
didn't-
here.
Jerry, you brought yourself here. I didn't make this place up. I didn't storm up there. I didn't punch somebody. I didn't get arrested. I didn't lose my love. But you sure as shit did. Or you will in about a minute. Do you want to know what Ben thought of you after this? Not what he said to you, but what he thought about you.
How do I stop this?
That's the right question. And with that, friends, we're going to zoom back to Garrett, Maryland, as we follow through the suburban areas and streets outside of the urban skyscraper and light back on the house of Butts. As inside, George and Aaron, bathed in the green light of an old monitor, are combing through the files of one Eugene Butts. And in this moment, George, I'd like to ask you, you received quite a bit of information that came via, I don't know, a messenger pigeon of some kind. Of those 3 topics that I provided you, each of those may be addressed with another role if you would like to glean more information, or if you would like to comb through your father's files for additional information, you may do so, if that's your intent. You may, of course, do anything else that you would like in Garrett, but right now, in this moment, the 2 Buttses, senior and junior, stare at granddad's old computer.
I think first things first. I think the most urgent item would be to get some of these code names, figure out more about that. Even if it's just one, a handful, all of them would be great. But I think he would love to dive deeper into the code name list that he received. Or I guess it would be the channel list, but it's channel list with code names. So
Gotcha. Alrighty, so I tell you what, go ahead, and this is going to be a general search for that specific topic, and we're going to roll successes. I will let you know this, no matter what happens, you're going to find out information. The better the roll, the quicker you can do this. The faster you can get information, the more information you may be able to glean in obviously a shorter period of time.
Okay.
So with that, I will allow you to roll 2 things. You may roll Tinker, 3, Tinker, Program, or Comprehend.
Damn. Tinker. You said Tinker, Comprehend. What was the other one?
Program.
Program.
If you decide to roll Program or Comprehend, you get a +1 from Aaron.
Okay, so then I'll roll Comprehend. I'll pre-code the +1. It's not great, but 1 success.
But it is a success. And so in this moment, as you are looking for any type of correlation, and at this point, Aaron is kind of leaning over with you, mimicking your moves as you kind of lean closer and get different angles on all of this code as it starts to come up. Sometimes, your father, you're starting to see how your father worked. There would be a lot of just crap that would probably be a project from the loop, and buried deep within some report or some, list of scientific data, you would find just a little bit, just a fraction of a sentence, and sometimes even a fraction of a word. But you're amazed at how quickly Aaron is able to figure out some of these things. And towards the end, he's starting to point out things to you. And you will see that one of the names on your list is Frizzle. And you find relatively quickly that you believe that the code name of Frizzle belongs to the Garrett librarian, Hannah Casper, who refers to herself as Miss Frizzle one time.
I think during this, George would, kind of as he's typing, he would just kind of glance towards Aaron, like, "Hey, man, you're pretty good at this."
And he keeps looking at it, and you realize that his eyes are moving in such a rapid, like the pupils are just going back and forth as he's reading this. You realize that he not only understands what he is, but he's utilizing some of the things that you probably would have too if you had been his age and known what you actually your true kind of nature. But he is really kind of turning the wheel directly into being a robot. And he looks up, and gone is the kind of artificial nature of what he was doing. And his eyes look normal as he stares at you and says, "Thanks, Dad. It's fun. It's like a puzzle."
It is just like a puzzle, yeah. Well, let's see if we can keep going.
Well, what am I supposed to be looking for?
Who do you think Zordon is?
Let's look. And then, I mean, he immediately starts to say he's the leader of the Power Rangers, but realizes that's not what you want. And so he just turns back to the screen as you all begin to do that. Roll me and investigate as, the minutes are turning into an hour, as you're sitting there working.
Goose egg.
You see Aaron's head kind of perk up for a second, and then he goes back to what he's doing and watching everything with you. And as you look through, you don't find out any type of correlation for Zordon. But if you roll me either a Tinker, Program, or Comprehend, I might be able to give you something else.
Okay. Do I still get the +1?
You do, yeah. As long as you use Program or Comprehend.
Okay. Didn't work this time.
Well, it did, but again, Aaron's not as helpful in this moment, but you all find a couple breadcrumbs. And again, there's no mention of Zordon, but you see your father has begun to speak of a project that seems to be one of the last ones that he was working on. And while there is no mention of Zordon, you do see that the title of the project is Power Ranger. And at maybe 30 minutes after your search, Aaron points, much like Leonardo DiCaprio, and points at the screen as Power Ranger pops up. And as you are searching there, in a moment of calm between father and son, we will draw back up into the sky as we find two of our party members in Shannon and Mitch emerging from what they believe to be the bowels of Castle Grayskull, one Chris Witt minus a left leg in tow. Friends, you burst into an open field and the snow is blowing, but your ability to see ends at about 20 feet as it hits an incredible gloom of the blackness. Now, much like a snow globe, you see the swirl of squalls kind of coming in from this gloom and blowing back out. So you don't believe there's any type of like physical barrier or anything like that, but your ability to see is greatly reduced in this sort of small, compact space. And when you look behind you, you realize there is no opening from the stairwell from which you climbed from Castle Grayskull. And I will allow you both to roll a Comprehend in this moment if you would like, or an Investigate. Investigate's going to be a little bit harder, but to see if you can figure out where you are.
Nope, definitely can't tell where we are.
I can.
Thank fuck for that.
And again, if I ask you to roll anything more to get information from this spot, Mike, with 3 successes, you are immediately clear of any future rolls involving Comprehend.
Okay,
And so, and it's Mitch should obviously figure this out. There's just a couple changes here as you progress a little bit, a few steps from where you appeared, and you start to see and realize that this is the playground from Garrett Elementary. But unlike Garrett Elementary of your day, where there are a couple swing sets and a jungle gym and a sliding board and a seesaw, in this space, it seems as if every piece of equipment that has ever graced the Garrett Elementary playground exists. As you walk forward, you can hear the pendulum whooshing of swing sets, empty with no riders, as they swing in and out of this globe that you can barely see beyond 20 feet. Meshwork of a jungle gym that looks almost maze-like. It's at least 30 feet long. You see that there are almost ancient types of entertainment. You see a rope with a tire on it swinging in and out of frame. And each of these, as they swing, are creating a whine and a whirl that creates a chorus of almost agony as it comes back and forth in this space. And whoever's carrying Chris, you feel a squeeze on your shoulder as he says, "It's a trap. I got this far. It's a trap. You have to go through it, though."
Do I see a clear path, or like the Okay, so knowing that it's a trap, do I see what would be like, this is clearly the trap space. This is the hardest path, and it's probably the right path. Do I see like a what would be the obvious choice?
Immediately. With
Okay.
3 comprehend, you look, and with the mind of Mitch, especially since you're so familiar with Garrett, you see this anomaly in Garrett, all of this play equipment put together, and you can see that there's one path that looks very easy, and there's an opening, and there's very few of the swings seem to enter that frame. But with your 3 comprehend, you see about 15 feet in there that there is what looks to be the left leg of a pair of pants.
Sick, gross. I hate that. I'm gonna look for like what looks to be like American Ninja Warrior, like what is the hardest path to
Oh, you
choose?
see it. Yeah.
And then I
you see it.
kind of turn to Shannon and say, this is gonna suck. This is gonna suck real bad, and it's gonna suck the whole time. We have to go that way. And he points to like the most challenging path through the playground.
What about this whole thing do you think didn't suck already? I just want to clarify. All of that didn't suck, but now this is gonna suck.
He reaches down and like trying to be discreet so Chris doesn't see, and he sort of like shakes his pant leg and then points towards like the pant leg. That sucks a little bit more.
Sure.
Come
Let
on.
me I'll take Chris.
Yeah. If you need help, let me know.
Shannon's gonna like use the rope that they've got to create this kind of like a backpack harness so that she doesn't have to worry about holding Chris, and she'll just use that to kind of help with the process, basically.
Meta, leave it to you that 5 minutes into the adventure, it's Predator Badlands.
Let's go. Let's go.
Right. As you are, again, Mitch, Mike, if Mitch spares a second to look back at Shannon, he would see her kind of like with her teeth, twirling this rope around, and Chris Witt, for all that he is, just eagerly offering an arm, getting up underneath the armpits as she's like swinging him up, and you see just in a moment, in a just a survivalist type of setup, she's creating this makeshift harness. Shannon, as you are doing all of this, especially when you're starting and Chris realizes what you're up to, you can tell, even when you feel his skin, he's feverish. You're guessing he's probably suffering from a pretty profound infection.
Yeah.
And he reaches up and kind of grabs your wrist with strength, but not a whole lot. And as he grabs you, he says, Shannon, just leave me. Get out of here by yourself. I'm not going to slow you down.
What do you mean? You're not slowing me down. And there's no way in hell that I am leaving you behind.
Okay. And you can see that he never thought you would say you're going to leave him. But even with that admission, there is a relief in his voice that it was confirmed. And he would yell just barely over the wind of the snow that's blowing into the space to you, Mitch. And he would say, "We can't dive here either."
Yeah, I figured, bud. Just hold on. Yeah, okay. Fuck. All right. And he starts to head off towards the danger zone.
Okay.
Mitch's plan is to attempt to like go through first so that like Shannon can see how he gets through or to avoid whatever he steps in, because she clearly has a person strapped to her. She's C3PO in the desert. Chris is at least. So he can help her get through by visual at least.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm going to give you an option. This is the option that we're going to leave on. If you want to spend a couple minutes looking at this, I will give you additional information. You'll be able to kind of time certain things, if there is any way to time these swinging pendulums and this intricate kind of woven area. You can see that there's more to this than just like navigating the obstacle. You can see that there are catches and deadfalls and things kind of built into this. You can immediately go into there. There's not going to be any type of disadvantage if you just elect to go right now for speed, but you will get a bit of a reward, and you don't have to roll for it. You just have to roll a D6, and that will be how many minutes it takes Mitch to figure out the best way through this.
Yeah, I'll absolutely. Mitch has learned the hard way to not always run directly into things, whether he likes that or not. So I'll give you a D6. 1 minute, fucking on fire today, Mitch.
That's all it takes, everybody. As with 1 minute, Mitch is able. This is even before the sling is completed for Chris Witt. Mitch, you see it. It's almost like the rest of this obstacle goes off into your periphery. You remove the areas that are obvious traps. You know, going through this hole and going over this bar would lead to this and that, and you see it. You see the path through this obstacle, and it's during this investigation of 60 seconds that you realize that when these swings come into view, they are trailing what looks to be edges as sharp as razors. You can see that they swing with that moan and that agony, but they carry death with them. But all of that is pushed to the side as the brain of one Mitchell decides to navigate the correct path through. Roll me a move and give yourself +2.
Oh yeah. Move. Shit. Hold on. Didn't ask me to roll bonuses. Let me roll you 2d6s.
Yep.
1 success.
And that's all you need. And as you enter, again, meta, as Shannon would turn around, this time kind of, getting her everything set on her shoulders, Chris pulls up his right leg and tucks it into some of the remnants of the rope, basically lashing himself further to you, but making sure there isn't any drag. He's trying to make himself as compact as possible, but he doesn't have the strength to hold his leg up by himself. So he kind of ties it to himself. As you look out there, Mitch, you begin to climb through, you stop, and you see Mitch go backwards inside this cage of a jungle gym just as one of the swings comes by, hits one of the sides, and clips out a spark. And you see the path before you. Provided Mitch does not miss, you don't have to roll. So you are able to get right up against Mitch, and it is from your back, as Chris is looking back the way you came, when he whispers, "They're coming." And as we lift off into the snowy sky, we spin around until we find the paperback exchange. And friends, I've been remiss. We have music that we're always supposed to play, and we haven't played any right now. So if you would, go to track number 8, Only the Young by Journey, cue that up, as we have Rob inside his Sancta Sanctorum of the paperback exchange, holding none other than one Maggie May as she squeezes her son and looks at you. Without saying anything, Rob, what is going through your mind at this moment as your mother, who you last knew as having died, is seemingly brought back into your good graces?
I think Rob is a realist, and he feels like this isn't real, but he's letting himself believe that it is. But there's something in the back of his head that tells him this can't be real. He saw it with his own eyes. She's gone.
With that kind of hesitation in your mind, she pulls back from your hug but doesn't leave your embrace. She's still holding your upper arms as she grips. And it's now that you can realize that Maggie looks like she did when you saw her in the 60s. She is young, almost impossibly so, to the point where you both look almost the same age. She's probably a few years older than you, but she just seems so young. You can't really place it. And when she looks at you, she lifts up a finger and almost touches your lips with it as she says, I know it's you. I can feel our magic. And behind her, back towards where her office was in the paperback exchange, you start seeing each of the cinder blocks from the top left across and down in rows, almost like a video game, begin to fall away. And as they drip, not making any sounds, they just begin to recede. You see a glow of a beautiful sunrise coming through. And you see a horizon of golden wheat and a cliffside with a large blue castle perched atop it. And without knowing, because you've been there before, you realize that you're staring at the age of always. A moment after that realization, you see that water begins to pour from the top of the paperback exchange, veiling your view. You can still see through that mirror of the waterfall, the castle in the distance, but you realize you're now looking from the backside of a waterfall out into the land that you spent a few hours and days in. My time in this world is over, my son, but thanks to you, my time isn't over. These moments are woven with magic. As soon as you speak, it will realize that we share the same magic, and the sand in my hourglass will begin to end. So, my son, how may I help you one last time? Kendall, Rob may ask questions. You may ask anything of Maggie. If she possesses the knowledge, she will give it to you. This could be anything about anything. If it's something that has been secret, something that he's wanted to know, she will provide him with the answer. I will give you one for free. You can have 3 in total, but each of the subsequent asks will require a roll. Do you have a question for Maggie?
Yeah, what's her famous potato salad recipe? No. So, yeah. Ew. Now she said the second I ask a question and start talking, that's when the timer starts.
Yes.
Is she just gonna like be floating around with me the whole time? Like if I start walking off, or do I have to like stay in the paperback exchange?
I'll give you this one for free. You get the feeling that no matter what, she's going to eventually have to leave. Her time in this plane is, for one reason or the other, over. But because of your actions, she is not condemned to death. She is not condemned to imprisonment as she was inside Pennywise. She gets to return to her home. But she is waiting and is being gifted a few final moments with you.
Okay. So gaming the system and just not talking and having
Right.
her with me
Exactly.
for the rest of
Right.
my life.
She's bending the rules.
Okay. Mom?
Would you like me to come back to you? if you want to
No.
think about them. Okay.
No, I'm good. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Sounds good.
Mom, what is this place?
This is the nexus of everything. That's why I'm here. The loop, the energon, you, the others, they exist nowhere else. That's what makes this place so special. It is, if you control this spot, this town, you can control everything. Time, space, and everything in between. They broke it, though. The one that you're fighting broke it.
You're gonna make me roll to ask who was fighting, aren't you?
I sure am.
I knew you was. Alright. Okay. I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna roll a
D12. This is, you're
D12.
using your magic here. This is basically you
Okay.
keeping the door open for Maggie.
hoof.
What is your question?
But who is it? Who controls this? Who's in charge of all of this that's happening right now?
She starts to talk, but you can't hear anything. You see her lips moving, but you hear no words. No air seems to be passing through her throat. And she realizes it too a second after she begins, and her eyes get wider, and she starts to say something, but it's not vocalizing. And she grabs your hand and puts it to her throat. Roll again.
Seven.
You hear, both as a touch and a feel, you hear her kind of end a sentence. Are you asking who the enemy is?
Yeah, if he's our enemy.
She looks at you, says one word, and you wouldn't need to have your hand on her throat to hear the vibrations when she says, Ben. We are back in the town of New York City. We are standing inside an aerobic studio. And if you could, everybody, I would like you to go to track number 1. It's a little tune called Veronica by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. The nothing turns to you, Jerry. You are now watching as your high as fuck self is charging towards a wide-eyed Veronica and an even wider-eyed gentleman who is watching your approach as your fists begin to lift. And the nothing looks at you, Jerry, and says, what are you going to do?
Stop
You
it.
gonna-
Stop it.
I can't. But you can.
Jerry's not going to hesitate. He's going to try and tackle himself.
Then let's immediately, as you begin to move, as soon as you grab almost like the back of the shirt that were wearing during that day that is so hard to remember, you grab, and in that moment, you can see the next few seconds. You see yourself knocking 2 of the teeth out of the man that's standing beside Veronica. He goes down in a heap, grabbing his face. It is only then that you see Sam come out of the shadows screaming the name Jason. You see Veronica as she looks wide-eyed at what you've just done. And she looks at you. and you see that there are engagement rings on the finger of the man you just hit and on Veronica's younger sister, Sam. Later, you would find out that this was a younger sister coming to ask her older sister to be her maid of honor in the wedding that would be coming up the following summer. It was in this moment, too, that you are told later that you entered into the aerobics studio where Veronica teaches. You assaulted Jason, the fiance. And it was at that point that Veronica, tears in her face, looked down at you as you collapsed in a puddle of your own vomit. People rushing around calling the police. And as she cries, she looks at you and she says, "You saved me a long time ago, Jerry, and I wanted so bad to be able to save you, but I can't. I don't ever want to see you again." And it were those moments, ones that maybe Jerry never remembers because of the drugs going through his system. But you remember them now. You see them now as you grab your past self and you spin him around a second before that fist connects with Jason's chin. And for a moment, you look into the eyes of who you've become. And you're not sure if you're looking in a mirror or it's something that you've been able to best. And I need you to roll something for me, Jerry. I don't give a shit what it is. Roll something in this moment, something that proves that you are the correct Jerry, that you are the real Jerry, that this isn't your fate.
I feel like this is the correct roll for that. But there's 0 successes.
I will let you take a condition for a success.
I'll do it.
There's pain associated with this. It's a realization that while you're not the addict as full blown as you see in front of you, you are still a portion of him. But you are also a portion of that hero from your youth, the person that Veronica loved, the person that she still loves. And somewhere inside of the Jerry that is Jerry, you find the strength to throw your own punch. And as the ding ding of a boxing match begins, the nothing sits back and produces a guitar as he plays the first couple chords of Rockin' in the Free World. But friends, we'll get back to that in a second as we spin through the sky and return to the House of Butts. George and Aaron, you are looking for more information, especially on that of Zordon, the code name of the channel upon which you have been given this information. And while you were able to find the last data points that were given to you by Eugene for the Power Ranger experiment that he was conducting, you realize that your dad was working with artificial intelligence, but not something speculative, not something created. It was his own intelligence. He was trying to figure out a way to put himself into one of the robots so he could live forever with your mother, with you, and with Aaron. And you realize he succeeded, at least partially, because the person that you're looking for as Zordon is your father, Eugene. Roll me another investigate.
One success.
This time you hear the movement in the other room as both you and Aaron, in a moment of absolute mimicry, kind of perk up like two cats. And this time you can hear just the bare squeak of a floorboard in the hallway just outside your dad's office.
I would love to, as quiet as a mouse or as quick as a cat, kind of get into a position. I'm assuming that the door's like a bit open, but maybe not very much, but like maybe an inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, something like that. I would love to lie flat against a wall and see if I can peer through that crack to see down the hallway.
Sure, absolutely. Roll me an investigate.
One success.
As you look down the hallway, for a minute, you think that the lights have been turned off. And then you see that the entirety of the hallway, almost to the very ceiling, 8.5 feet up, is filled with what looks like a wolf. You can see eyes and teeth as white as the snow blowing outside, but the rest of it is jet black. And it is moving for something its size with such stealth that only the ears of 2 robots could have picked it up, as this bulk creates just the slightest creak of a floorboard.
Wolves famously can't open doors. I'd like to reach over and close the door.
Roll me a move to see how quick you are.
One success.
You're able to reach over and slam the door. And, suburban indoor doors are famously secure. They are incredibly, sturdy. There's really nothing that can knock them off their hinges, except almost anything. But in that moment of slamming, you hear more than see the bulk of this beast, knowing that the stealth is pretty much out the window. You kind of see it kind of rear back as it's not sure what's happening as the door closes on it. And you hear this kind of shift that rocks the entire house. For a moment, you see Aaron reach out and grab hold of the arm of your dad's desk chair as he looks at you and he goes, "What's that, Dad?"
I'm not gonna lie to you, son. That is a big fucking wolf.
And with
Pardon
that,
my
the
language.
door explodes and the big fucking wolf's head begins to snap inside. Roll another move for me as you evade this attack.
Another move. One success.
You are able to grab Aaron and literally just absolutely bite it and jump backwards into the secret room as this huge maw snaps right in front of you, inches from where Aaron would have been. But you're able to jump back and tumble into the secret room. The door, however, is still open to this. What would you like to do as you look out as this creature almost squeezes its way into your dad's office? You see the computer and its green screen tumble to the ground and his entire kind of study, his marbles roll across the floor. One of them.
Is it just me or did we lose Greg?
It is just you.
Uh-oh.
No.
Uh-oh. I don't know what to do.
You can't hear him at all, Mike?
I can't see him.
There he is.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Now I
No,
got him
can
back.
see.
Yeah, I got you. So the last thing I heard is basically the marbles scrolling across the floor.
Large jet black beast begins to knock over everything that's inside the office, and its eyes, yellow with an almost bioluminescence, turn and look at you, and those white teeth spread in a wolf grin as it begins to move towards this secret space.
I think we just it's fight or flight mode, and that's a big wolf, so I think it's flight. So he's scrambling with Aaron to keep through the crawl space and keep going.
Awesome. Roll me a move, and actually roll me 2. The first move is going to be for Aaron. The second one is for you.
Uh-oh. Well, 0 for Aaron, 1 for me.
As you begin to move, you grab hold of Aaron, kind of, pulling him along, keeping yourself sort of between the evil and your son. But as you're moving through the space, it's littered with these broken and savaged bodies of other robots. You see yourself dismembered. You see your mother, Erin, all of these different pieces. Then, of course, the actual biological skeleton of what you presume to be your father with his lab coat on. And Erin slips and falls to the ground. And as this creature begins to squeeze into the space, a proximity alarm goes off. As inside everything turns to a red, and you see all of the robots' eyes, even dismembered, even the ones that are simply heads on shelves, they all glow red and turn to look at the intruder. You two, of course, are not intruders because you are part of the menagerie. But as they all turn to look, each one of these voices begin to speak, and you hear the voice of your mother, yourself, your son. Run, run, run. And you see shambling robots, some of them without any arms or heads, get up and throw themselves, blocking your escape. This is a benefit for what you did with the computer, my friend. You activated the defense mechanisms inside your father's lab. You have been gifted 2 rounds to get away from this thing. Grab Erin and tell me what you do.
Oh, we cheese it. It's like I'm grabbing him, and if I have to like hold him, I should be strong enough. I will like run and slide into the crawl space just to get into that shit faster.
You absolutely do. You're absolutely able to slide in there. You hear, just absolute destruction going on in the lab behind you. You can feel the entire house is rocking at this point as this great beast is being thrown or having to basically reposition itself. And every time it does, it bangs against a wall as it is in some type of martial combat with the remnants of your family. You have another round to get out of here, and the door that would open up into the living room is available through the cubby, as is the front door that Pennywise exited from. Just tell me where you'd like to go, what direction you'd like to start in, and we'll take it from there.
I think I would like to go into the living room. I'm not going to go to the front door. I think the blasted out back door that Shannon got pulsed through, I'd like to just go through that.
Absolutely. Yeah, you don't have to roll or anything. There's a crunch of some glass as you and Erin kind of run across back out into the cold night of the eternal night of Garrett. You're in your backyard. There's still just rumblings coming from the house. It's eerie though, because in this suburban neighborhood, especially the good side of town that George is from, if there's ever any loud noise whatsoever, somebody could, drop a glass that shatters. Lights would pop on every porch and people would stick their heads out, mostly just because they're fucking nosy. But in this moment, with these incredibly violent sounds coming from the Butts residence, not one light comes on. Not one head sticks out of a door to see if someone needs help or if there's something up or if there's anything. It's silent here in Garrett, and the good side of the tracks. Where do you run?
I think instinctively it's normally be Teletran too, but I think we had discussions about going towards the loop. So I might try to see if they go towards the loop, see if I link up with anybody.
Do you want to do anything about transportation, or are you just going to hoof it?
I feel like we're going to be pretty quick and quiet if we're on foot. So I feel like we're probably like Superman running if we can. Just be a bunch of robot sprinters here.
You're not the Flash, but you guys can run, and it doesn't seem like you get tired. But you are limited by the fact that Aaron can only run as fast as his small legs can carry him.
I got you there. I was going to say kind of just shoulder him, but maybe there's a really nice Corvette or Mustang in the family garage left over from the 80s.
Well, didn't your dad have a Mustang? Wasn't that
I believe so.
Your mom or your dad had a Mustang?
I couldn't remember if it was a Mustang or a Corvette, but I believe it was a 67 Fastback Mustang.
Right, because I remember that the other kids were drooling over it the first time they went over to George's house. I remember that and all the expensive toys that George had. or
Yeah.
all things to be looked at. So yeah, you're
Strangely,
absolutely
the bushes for some reason.
right, and of course the bushes, which are now overgrown and don't resemble anything in particular, sort of. So yeah, so you go to the garage, you're going kind of like back to the house, and as you lift it up, you see a car cover. Again, a bit of an overkill inside of a garage to also have a car cover on, but you figure you can get it off, and I don't know, roll me a d6 and I'll tell you how fast you can get the car cover off.
Okay. All right. 5.
There's a couple snags, there's a couple ties that you didn't see, so you start to tear through them as you hear Aaron say, "Dad, Dad," and you hear the smash from the other side of the house, which is basically on the opposite side of the shared wall from the garage, as you realize something is presumably a beast of sorts has decided to track you through the shattered French door, following your scent around the side of the house. You're about 15 seconds from getting this thing completely clear. Do you take the rest of the time, or do you just jump in and hope for the best?
Oh, jump into the Mustang and just peel out, or
Yeah.
I think George would spend at least 5 more seconds trying to get it off, like ripping it. He doesn't care at this point, and then he would peel out in it.
Roll me a d12.
D12. All right. 2.
You begin tearing at this, and there's a bit of dry rot associated with this cover as it comes apart in your hands as you're grabbing it. It's almost like you're pulling wet tissue paper. And Aaron sees what you're trying to do, and to make your job a little bit easier, jumps into the car, and you see him reach up and pull down the visor as the keys come out, and he holds it up with the lucky rabbit's foot off of it from your dad. "I got Grandpa's keys." And it's just at that moment that you get tackled by a big fucking wolf. Let's go over to the elementary school playground as we have Shannon and Mitch crawling through a jungle gym, dodging presumably these deadly swings as nuthlings begin to pour out of the darkness. Chris started to count.
Every mom was like razor blades and apples, and now this is the
It's real.
This is
it. This is the Halloween that we all thought we were going to get.
For real.
Okay, so in this moment, I am going to tell you this. Chris was able to count. He got up to around 8 and stopped because he realized it was sort of depressing. And now he is just saying, they're getting faster. They're closing. They're closing. What I need from you is the following. You're going to need 3 rolls in total. Each of these rolls require 2 successes apiece. I will allow you both to trade off on them, but the following rolls are needed for this. We need a force, we need a move, and we need a tinker. These will get you through each of the obstacles that are presented inside of this challenge. The first that comes up, and Mitch, you are, as you said, in the front, is going to require a force roll. Every time you have to switch positions, the nuthlings get closer.
The force roll I will happily make. I have so many dice in that. Holy shit! That's not great, guys. That's not good right there.
If you would like to push this, you certainly can. You will get a condition. Leadership dice, if they are out there.
He also has a mission.
I have them. I got 3 successes on the leadership dice. So how many do we have to give out?
Oh, I know all about the Michigan, buddy. Thanks.
you have 3 dice. Sorry, you had 3 successes. So 6 dice.
6 dice. Well, yeah, I can give you however many dice we need to get the fuck out of here. So maybe Shannon can be like pointing out like, oh, step there, as he's trying to get to the next using that leadership.
Yep, absolutely. And what I'll allow in this one, since this is after the roll, I will allow you to use 2 of these dice, but going forward, we need to declare how many of these dice we want to use before the roll.
Okay.
Okay.
But since it's our first time and we're in the middle of a hot and heavy situation, I will allow you to use up to 2.
I'll throw 2 more dice in here. 1 success.
Okay, you do
Need
need 2 successes. So if you want to push this, you absolutely can and take a condition. If you want to use, we are reset. So if you want to use your, what do they call that in this? It's not
Your shame.
Shame. If you want to use your shame, if it's appropriate narratively,
I will push. I'll take a 3rd condition for Mitch.
3rd condition.
Am I pushing with the 2 dice, or just the 1 dice because I've got a 6 on it?
You can actually re-roll your initial force roll. Yeah, you get the full bevy again.
Okay, God, there's the 2nd success.
Okay, so as you're moving through here, you begin to, Shannon's pointing out correctly where you're supposed to go, and you started going down like you were going over one of the bars instead of Shannon definitely told you to go to the right of one of those bars. And as you realize what you're doing, you pull back just as one of these swings comes through and opens up a 3-inch gash across Mitch's forehead. Blood immediately begins to pour down as it's almost like a wrestler from the 80s, like Ric Flair decided to blade. And as you did that, you're just covered in the crimson mask as you pull back, and immediately you're blinking through your own blood, but you are able to course correct as you climb through here. You keep your distance between the Nuthlings that Chris is telling you kind of in a metronome type way are getting closer. They're getting closer, much like go faster. You two need to be going faster. The next move that pops up is a move roll that you're going to have to make. 2 successes are required. And before you see an area of open space, but every so often you see 8 swings come through in just an absolute oblivion of edged weaponry. You must move through here, and whoever leads carries the other through with successes. But if you switch, they get closer.
Mechanically, I'm looking at about a 7 here. I don't know what you're looking like.
I've got 5 in body, and we're doing move this time, right? And 4, so 9. I could do it, but we'll get,
We have a minus for
we're gonna
Chris,
have to
or can we
switch
literally
again
swap
for
Chris off?
Tinker is the problem.
That's fine.
Chris is not going to be a hindrance in this aspect. If you have to do like a dead sprint, Chris might be a problem. But right now, just for agility's sake, he's moving. Listen, if Meta hadn't decided to grab that fucking rope whenever you guys were arming up, this would be very different. But I can't. That was Johnny on the spot stuff. So that's basically an item for this moment that's negating what would be the penalty for Chris.
Told you guys.
Begrudgingly admit.
You got us with the rope. Yeah, if you want to take the I mean, it's either that or I throw 2 extra dice on it and then we're both at a 9.
That's true. I'm worried about we're gonna have to switch twice. We're gonna have to switch now, and then we'd have to switch for Tinker because I have 0 in Tinker.
That's fine.
And
I can rock Tinker.
So take two dice from leadership, and Shannon will continue to guide Mitch.
I'm gonna roll with +2 dice on.
Please, dice gods.
I'm just gonna roll with Mitchell because it will add the +2. So let's move.
Oh, thank fuck.
I'm so fast. I'm fast as fuck, boy.
In fact, you are, because you doubled up the successes that you would need for this. You actually, because of both Shannon guiding you through this area and Mitch's own acumen, surprisingly, in this moment, you are able to actually increase the distance between yourself and the Nuthlings. But I would like you and Meta, please describe Shannon with Chris on your back as you all run through what is essentially a hallway of swinging edged pendulums that one of them could take off, I don't know, a left leg or a head, or how do you guys get through there? Paint the picture for me.
like an anime, I just start running so fast that like the shirt comes off, and then all of a sudden it's back on.
Modesty.
Yeah. There's sensor bars out of nowhere. No, I think it's like oddly enough, if like you were watching it from an outside perspective, like Mitch is doing that like lean in and lean back, like if you're awaiting to jump into double dutch, as he's just like watching and trying to get the timing right. And then he just yells, "Wait for it now!" And then like attempting to like expose where the wait for it is and then where the now is as he starts like dodging through stuff.
And describe for me, Meta, describe for me how Shannon gets through here. Describe for me how she gets halfway through this maze.
Okay. So she uses the first half to build up speed, and then the second half we can talk about. So she literally just books it. She uses the momentum and the force of the extra weight of Chris to continue on to the next part.
Okay, absolutely. And it works. Halfway through the hallway, it absolutely works. But it seems that one of the Nuthlings got ahead of the rest of them and is operating one of the swings a little bit more erratically than what Mitch's mind was comprehending as the regular intervals between the swings. And so it's coming in at a slightly faster clip, something that didn't happen for Mitch, but definitely happened for Shannon trailing Mitch. Mitch, I am going to give you the ability to roll a d12 for your dive. And this is to pull Shannon to you somehow, despite the fact that it's not supposed to work in this area. With 4 successes, you get to spread the Nuthling advance and use one of your powers. So mechanically, here it is.
Sick. All right, so it's a D12, right?
Mm-hmm.
11, Greg.
Yeah, you're on fire. So you tell me, you see it coming, and something in this moment tells Mitch, despite what Chris said about the inability to dive, you still think you might be able to get off one portal.
I think Shannon sees what Jerry saw for the first time is Mitch makes it through things. I think it's like that skidding halt, and he turns to like look back to make sure that Shannon is getting through. And he sees like the Nuthling approaching. He sees like the change in speed of one of the things, and he like there's like a not so Darth Vader of a no, but like definitely like a no. And he throws his hand out as if to stop it. And then Shannon, in a second, you would see his hand disappear and his hand reappear, 10, 15 feet towards you and like grab something and pull it out, like grab like the swing set and yank the chain just right before it like hits you or like pull at something or grab you forward just so you have that extra step. And then as fast as you see it, the hand dissipates and reattaches to his, and you just see his with his hand out.
And for a moment, Mitch, when you do that and you reach out, you can actually see through the portal that you've cut. You can see Shannon that much closer to you as it looks like you're reaching through the knot in a fence. And as you do that, you pull her just enough to get her away from this edged swipe, and just enough that it clips one of the Nuthlings that was reaching for Chris Witt just behind her. And for a moment, there is a poof of what looks like black smoke as 2 of the Nuthlings meet their end. Friends, you are through this section. You have 1 section remaining. It seems to be a vault door.
You good?
Dandy.
Okay, cool. Because it looked like for a second you were not good.
If you all look backwards, and every time that Shannon moves, Chris is no longer able to give you a countdown as to what you're looking at. But when you look back, you see that much like what Mitch, you did, you see the Nuthlings trying to get ready to make their runs through. There's at least 8.
Weird hand thing. You can detach your.
That's new. I had to get in and out of places. It's fine. Hold on. I think I got this. And I'm going to take Mitchell down and like place him next to the vault. And I'm gonna use Mitchell to assist in this tinker. Ooh, shit. 0 successes on that.
You may push, of course.
Yeah, Mitch like looks back and like looks at Shannon and Chris, but like is looking past to see if the Nuthlings have progressed further. And upon seeing some of them are running through that area, I will push. So I know it's what you want, Greg, you sadistic man.
Sure.
I'm gonna try this. Fuck me.
That's your 4th condition.
Uh-huh.
And as you again, you see this kind of dialed door, and it seems to be a very rudimentary type of, it's something that a kid would, be on a vault door. Oh, this has got a combination lock. And as you're turning the wheel, you're pretty sure you heard the tumblers go. I mean, they're so big you can almost see them, but the effing thing will not open. And as you go to open it, you realize that in this moment, you have allowed yourself, or whatever you did, activated something from the other side. And Shannon, as you're watching, you see this almost piston of metal pop out from the door and punch into the right eye of Mitch. You see him fly backwards, and I need you to roll to see if you maintain consciousness, my friend, as you are at 4 conditions.
Sick. What would you like me to roll?
Whatever you want that you think that would keep Mitch awake. This could be force, it could be move, it could be one of the tinker, it could be something calculate, it could be something, Mitch is just flooding his head with whatever he thinks could keep him coherent. Because in this moment, your bell is rung. Shannon, you've seen somebody get hit before where it's not going to be a quick fix. Mitch just got a KO shot.
I'm gonna give you a tinker, because I think as soon as I get knocked back, Mitchell like runs, drives over, and is checking. Fuck now, fuck.
You hit the ground and you're able to maintain consciousness, but your eye immediately closes on the right side. You just cannot see. You have lost any type of like stereo vision that you had. And as you look up at Shannon, you know that you now have 2 burdens to carry. I will give you the option to do the following. You may begin to fight if you want to try to buy some time for Mitch to recover, or you may attempt to open the door yourself.
Without looking at Mitch at this point, she unholsters her gun, reloads it, and very directly just, Mitch, have you got this?
I can fucking try.
Try quickly. And she begins to open fire on the Nuthlings that are closing in.
Roll 2 Glocks for me as we leave the scene.
Okay. 1 and hello? Roll 20? Maybe?
I love when roll 20 is like, you didn't mean to roll the same thing twice, did you? And it just stops.
What the hell? Let me try again.
Right.
There it goes. Okay. So 3 successes total.
Mitch, from your view up with your left eye, you see kind of straddling over top of you the John Wick version of Shannon that has now become a Atari Midnight staple as she fires back at the Nuthlings, and on her back is Chris Witt. There's nothing more that you could add to the mystique of Shannon in this moment that would make her look any more badass, unless, of course, she was like holding the head of a Nuthling. I don't know. But these two shots go off, and you see 2 puffs of black smoke in the swings of death, and you're shaking your head trying to get yourself oriented. You begin to pull yourself up. Mitchell emitting chimes and whines of that you would know as, dude, get the fuck up, get the fuck up, get up, get up, get up. And it's just saying that over and over again as we zip through the cold air and arrive in the paperback exchange. Rob, your hand, or Maggie's hand, has been guiding your own to her throat. You've just heard the word Ben, both in your mind, in your ears, and through the vibrations of your fingertips, as she begins to almost drift towards the back end of this waterfall. And she's pulling you with her, not intentionally, but you can just kind of feel yourself almost like you're gliding. You're just off the ground just a bit. It's slow. It's not like you're being whisked into this void, but you have just a precious few beats left. And she's looking at you now, and you can see that there's, again, an ethereal quality to her. You're beginning to see through her and the waterfall behind.
Wait. What do you mean? What do you mean, Ben?
You can see her mouth. Go ahead and roll for me here. You're going to get this no matter what. But if you get a success on this, I'll give you another question.
11.
You can hear her again through the vibrations in your own mind and with your ears. You hear her say, Ben is the nothing.
And at that, Rob's gonna stop letting her, like, kind of pull him back, and he's just gonna drop his hand. Oh shit! Oh shit! And now he's gonna be looking for a way to leave. He's got to get back to somebody. He's got to tell somebody, preferably not Jerry first.
She cannot advance towards you. You can see her trying. She knows, you can tell in her face, she knows this is impossible, but she's trying anyway. She's trying to come with you. She's trying to, as you kind of pull back to go tell your friends, she is pulling forward, but she can't advance. And she just looks at you as she begins to slowly move towards the screen of water. And you don't have to hear her as she mouths the words, I love you.
I love you too, Mom.
And in your mind, as the waters split, as her body begins to go in, kind of breaking around her, you see a clearer version of that view that you had before of the azure citadel sitting upon the side of the cliff face overlooking the white-capped ocean. And you hear her say, when you are done, find me. And she slips through the water, and you see the cinder blocks stack back up. And for a moment, you can smell the mist. You can smell the lushness of the age of always. You can smell the last of 1969 as Maggie May quits Garrett. Rob, you are armed with information that no one else has. She has named Ben as the nothing. What do you do?
Damn it. And he's gonna back away and try to run back out the door.
You run back out the door, hopping over the bloated and split body of Pennywise. You open the door. It is not locked from the inside. The catch releases as you push. And as you open up, the sign that had been set to closed, but not forever, catches the wind and spins to open for adventure. As you enter back out into this amalgamation of eternal night in Garrett, where do you go? Which direction do you proceed in?
Look left and right. Which side of the street is darker?
Excellent question. Roll me an investigate. I'm going to give this to you no matter what, but I like where you're going with this.
No.
It takes you a few beats. It's sort of a back and forth type of thing. But as I described before, Main Street, upon which the paperback exchange rests, is actually one that is not, you don't see like slivers of time going through Main Street. Main Street seems to be one uniform winter night. But as you look back and forth, as you're kind of looking up the hill towards what would be the rest of Garrett, towards George Butts's house, on your right and on your left, the left being where the paperback exchange would be, the left appears darker. It takes you a bit, but yes, the left is definitely darker.
I'm gonna head towards the darkness.
As you enter into the darkness and begin to run, roll me one more investigate.
1 success.
You run up, and it takes you a moment, and as you begin to kind of climb deeper into this darkness, you see two figures up ahead. One of them you recognize as the creature that gloated about killing Maggie, none other than the Nothing, standing beside Jerry. And Jerry's eyes seem to be coal black as he is somewhere else at this moment. But Rob, we're sticking with you for a minute. You have one moment to act, as it appears that neither the Nothing nor Jerry has recognized your presence. Rob Ott, the last guardian of Garrett, what do you do?
Well, I would like to refer back to one of the best to ever do it, Mr. Bill Goldberg. And I want to spear the ever loving shit out of this Nothing, Mack truck style.
Absolutely. So an amalgamation of Goldberg, Roman Reigns, and Braun Breaker. You come charging forward to spear. Roll me a force as we leave your scene.
I was gonna say Braun Breaker, but I felt Goldberg was more accessible. 2 successes.
So as Rob, you launch yourself, preparing your shoulder for impact, we return to New York City. And everybody, if you could, put on track number 2, Rockin' in the Free World. Jerry, you have yourself by the collar, and you see the rest of the world, this aerobic studio, freeze around you. And in this moment, you know it is you versus yourself. This is the moment where everything changed for you. This is the moment where the Jerry that was the hero became the Jerry that is considered a villain. Whether that's a definition that you subscribe to as well, that's unknown. But you have a moment to stop it. And the only thing that you can see out of your periphery is the Nothing, musical notes bleeding in black inky spots off of his body. He's playing a guitar as he begins to sing just like Neil Young, Rockin' in the Free World. There is a ding ding, very reminiscent of a boxing match, as you see yourself pull back and a fist of lightning begins to crackle around your right hand. The same one that was going to hit the fiance of Sam is now aimed at you. But Jerry Baker, what do you do?
Jerry has whatever this is. He's lost himself entirely to this moment, and I think he's just going to scream at himself, "You're throwing it all away!" And then perfectly symmetrical violence.
Roll me your D12, buddy.
It's a 5.
You throw the punch armed with the lightning that you have, and your darker self grabs it, just like Sam Elliott in Roadhouse. And as it grabs it, it begins to blister the flesh of your hand, its own lightning crackling in contrast to yours. Take a condition, Jerry, as you are driven down to your knees by yourself. And as you hear your own voice say you're throwing it all away, you look down at yourself. But I'm you, Jerry. I'm what you've made me. And behind you, the Nothing continues to play, but you hear just so slightly, in the words of Neil Young, a very familiar voice says from the nothing, "Go, Jerry. Do it." And what do you do, my friend?
Yeah, I think Jerry will just try to channel the lightning through himself, call it from the sky, pull it from the outlets, everything. He'll burn himself out to end this.
Roll me a d12. With 2 successes, you do just that, as it doesn't like break the glass that's surrounding the second floor, the same window that you looked at across the street and saw Veronica hugging this stranger and kissing this stranger. It doesn't break that glass, but lightning lances from the sky into you as each one of the outlets produce its own arcing energy, and it goes into you, but it also goes into the Jerry in which you're fighting. The two of you get charged up in this moment, and you're able to land a blow onto his face as it blisters the skin, tearing off pieces of his beard. And you see him reel back, going to one knee as well. He looks up at tears in his eyes. "I'm you, Jerry. I'm you." And as the nothing plays on, you hear the voice again in the middle of the song. "This is your moment. Seize it, brother."
Said we're up a floor or a couple of floors, aren't we?
You're on the second floor, yeah.
Jerry's going to charge at himself, and just shout, "I don't want to be you." And he'll try to carry the other Jerry through the window.
Roll me a d12. With 1 success, you do just that. And as you pass through the window, it doesn't break either. But the two of you, the Jerry in the middle of this addiction and the Jerry on the other side of it with the results of the addiction, you go flying through the New York air, crackling with energy. And as you drop to the sidewalk below, you realize that the other Jerry isn't fighting anymore. He's hugging you, and he's weeping, the blistered beard smoking as he buries his head in your chest as the two of you smash into the sidewalk. No damage taken from a fall that should have given you damage, but he's holding you, and you hear now that he is saying, "I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did this to us."
I think Jerry's also going to break down and hug him back.
And for a moment, you can see the two of you, not mirror opposites, but reflections. And for a moment, the two of you kind of cradle one another, and another blink, and it's just you standing there. But your beard is singed in one part, and your hand is blistered, and the nothing is standing looking at you. "Way to go, brother. It's done. It never happened."
Jerry just stares at him. He doesn't know what to say.
The figure in front of you kind of slings the guitar on his back and it disappears. But he says, "I'm going to leave you here now. This is your world. You've got her. It's what you always wanted. I don't want you around what comes next." Do you understand?
Jerry's gonna reach into his pocket and pull out a roll of pennies and toss it to him.
You see
Just in case.
the creature catches it and looks down at the roll, and you see the hand shake that's holding it. And he looks up and says, "Are these from the," and you see the nothing bend almost in a U as all of a sudden you are back at Rose Hill Cemetery and you see Rob blasting through the nothing, catching him completely blindsided right in the left side, just above, below the ribs, right in the kidney. And you see him bend and scream. And as he crushes his hand, the pennies go flying into the night. And with that, my friends, we will end this session of Atari Midnight. Stay tuned for our next session, episode 9, Pop and Lock.
Damn it. Fuck me. What a time. What a time. What a terrible time. Let's go around, do our outros so we can get the hell out of here and do our after show. If you guys want access to the after show, it's exclusively over on our Patreon. Link in the description down below. Join us at the $5 tier. I think you can get a 7-day free trial. Go check that out. It's worth your time. While you're down there, join us in the Discord. Be a part of the community. Be a part of the conversation. Talk about this game, all of our other fun games, all that fun stuff. I want to talk about this game in the after show. So let's start with the namesake of the episode. Bitters, who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
Mr. Bitters, I do this. That's all. Come back next week.
Perfect. Mike, you're up next.
What Bitter said.
Great. Kendall.
What Michael said. No, I'm Kendall. I play Rob. It's been fun. I love it.
Hell yeah. And also, if you want more of Kendall, you can see him over on YouTube. He's in our new Blaze in the Dark game.
Oh yeah, we did that Saturday.
Yeah. Meta, same question to you. Who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
Hi, I'm Metamancer. I am Shannon, and Meta is not okay. So you can't find me anywhere. Just wallowing in so many questions. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Last but definitely not least, Greg, who are you? Where can we find you tormenting other people? And what are you up to?
Hi, everybody. My name is Greg. I'm Warp Reactor over on YouTube. I do reaction videos for sci-fi shows if you want to come over and hang out. But I will be back here next Thursday as we wrap up the last 4 episodes of Atari Midnight season. And next week, we will be featuring none other than Shannon Locke of Pop and Lock fame.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I see what you did there. I hate it, but I see what you did there. That's it for us. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for all of the tips, the Maggies, the Michigans, as much as I hate them. We will discuss what's happening with those in the after show. But thank you. That's it for us. We'll see you guys next time. So from all of us to you, bye.